Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Welcome to everybody here on this first session in the evening that we are able to meet together with on Fantastic Friday. So here we are with many wonderful devotees whom I have known for long or been in touch with here and there. So just a few moments I want to take to explain to you why I'm calling this Fantastic Friday. If you have received, somebody told me, Maharaj, it's a very good catchy title, Fantastic Friday. I said, why? It rhymes very well. I said, no, it's got also a purport. It's got a purport. And I sort of quickly explained to him as it came into my mind. If you look at why, I just want to explain briefly why it is fantastic, like somebody think. I know we use this word very often. We use it very liberally. Oh, that was fantastic. This was fantastic. This was fantastic. For sometimes it's like, mostly it means F-U-N-tastic. It was full of fun. It was great. It was this, it was that, etc. But I wrote up a little, this thing saying, since the days I've discovered Krishna consciousness, I think it's been fantastic all along. Each new understanding, each new discovery, each new realization has always been fantastic. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna repeatedly says that you will enjoy it. He actually says that, Tushyati Ramanti Cha. He explains that. Somehow we repeat all these shlokas, but we don't know whether we have experienced it. Right? Tushyanti, Ramanti. He uses all these words and we wonder, when is that? I know that when I take prasadam, I do feel it's fantastic and all that. When I jump and dance in kirtan, it's great. And I see the deities dressed up wonderful, it's great. But is it all the time great? Actually, it's great. You carry it with you. Like Prabhupada gave us the example of the musk deer. The musk deer produces musk from its navel, the most sought after scent and perfume. And it does not know that it's coming out of its own navel. And it's running around here and there, whiffing and smelling. Where is this coming from? Great smell. Similarly, actually, there is nothing fantastic outside of us in spiritual life. Krishna, in the 14th chapter, towards the last shloka, he's explaining that Amritasya, Shashvatasya, Shukaiti Kantikasya cha. He's explaining that you don't know when you are a person capable of a fantastic amount of joy, ananda, bliss, and you are spirit soul, when you are in that platform of Brahman, the platform of self-realization is Amritasya, nectarian. Shashvatasya, eternally nectarian. Sukhaiti Kantikasya cha, gives you unlimited pleasure. So we are holding that capacity. We are holding that great potential within all of us. And we are hanging around, sometimes being depressed, sometimes being sad, sometimes being sorrowful. And Krishna is repeatedly saying in Bhagavad Gita in many places, you are amazing. You are spirit soul, you're amazing. Here, Ascharyavat Pashyati Kaschidenam Ascharyavat Vadati Tathai Vacha Anyah Ascharyavatchainamanyah shrunoti shrutvapi enam vedana chaiva kaschit. Please read the translation. Jyoti Ranjan Sharma. I would like you to read the translation as you can see on the screen.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Yeah.
Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all.
Great. Thank you. You are an amazing guy. Each one of you has already been mentioned by Krishna that you are amazing. It's not me saying it. It's Krishna saying it. It's Krishna saying it. I should call it Amazing Friday. But nobody will understand that very well. I thought we should call it Fantastic Friday. But I'm reflecting what Krishna is saying. Amazing. Right? So each one of us is an amazing person, as per Krishna's saying here. And each one of us is amazing because he's capable of high level of enjoyment and bliss and happiness. And Krishna is inviting us to have that happiness. In Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhāgavata also you see. And therefore, in these Fridays, we are hoping to actually recollect these words and acknowledge each other's amazing capacities, amazing identities, and make a conscious effort to experience that fantastic nature of the soul, that amazing nature of the soul. These are not only meant for talking about, quoting about, speaking about, etc. These are actually meant for also experiencing, in fact. In fact, Krishna consciousness is not just statements and dry speculatory arguments or something. It's an experience. And many, many devotees, as they chant Hare Krishna, as they read Bhagavad Gita, as they read these literatures, they get amazing realizations and their heart opens up. So welcome to all of you, friends, folks, ladies and gentlemen, whatever I should address you as, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, devotees. We are going to try to experience that fantastic moments that Prabhupada so lovingly gave to the whole world through his books, through the realizations of Krishna consciousness and everything. That's why we're here. And to give you a little history, we have been actually delving into various interesting books of Prabhupada and doing some reading. We have been reading The Light of the Bhāgavata. And it's been very exciting reading. For some of you who don't know, we will do that briefly today because today is the initial day. But as soon as we finish this Light of the Bhāgavata, which in itself is, every day is like a new title in itself. The Light of the Bhāgavata is a synopsis. It's a special commentary and writing that Prabhupada did on a chapter of the 10th canto called The Rains and the Autumn Season and Everything in Vrindavana. And Prabhupada actually got ready to attend a conference, I think in China or somewhere else. And it was a great big conference. And Prabhupada chose this chapter and gave a special commentary. He had already, written some of these things in the Bhagavad. And he gave a special commentary, and it's a beautiful book. In fact, one of my most favorite books. The Nectar of Instruction is another favorite book of mine. The Light of the Bhagavad is a very interesting favorite book of mine. We produced it in full color in the Malayalam language many years back, with all these paintings and illustrations. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, after Prabhupada passed away, he got this collection of writings that Prabhupada had done. Then he produced a book compiling it together. And he got a very aged, highly talented Chinese artist, very famous. She was 90 years old, to draw up illustrations for this, what Prabhupada had written. And she got introduced to Krishna consciousness. She got introduced to Krishna, and she did these amazing paintings. So beautiful. And it's all Chinese Krishna with slit eyes like that. And all the gopas with slit eyes. The gopis looking very different. I don't know whether you've seen it. It's highly enjoyable. I wish I could show you that. You have any of those paintings from the books? You can maybe screen it for them. I used it with great relish on the Malayalam publication that we did with the BBT, and used it in color throughout the book. There's so beautiful paintings, complete Chinese. Krishna in Chinese playing the flute. It's a very interesting. So it was a beautiful book. It's available, published by the BBT. And we've been reading that, and you'll be amazed to know that there is a comparison given to nature, to Mother Earth, to the clouds in the sky, the hills, the valleys, the thunder, the lightning, the soil, the road, the mud, the grass, the trees, the valleys. And the Bhagavatam compares amazingly these things in nature and the phenomena of nature to human society, to human nature, and the human spirit, as Prabhupada calls it. Prabhupada writes very, very beautifully here. Anybody who is not religious, anybody who is not Krishna consciousness also will relish this writing very much. So that's how it is, and it's very interesting reading. So this is just a backup for you so that you will be able to follow. And we are reading this, we're discussing, and we are reading this and speaking a few words on that. And then we're having a very active discussion. And a lot of things come about from those discussions. And we get a pulse of things in this world. Pulse of how things are happening, why they are happening. Because these analogies drawn in the Bhagavatam are so nice. And Prabhupada gives some brilliant insights in his writings also. Okay? So for today, we will continue reading this and relishing it along with you. Okay? You can open that up, Tirtha Tilak. By the way, Tirtha Tilak is the organizer of this program, and if you have anything to do with timing, the recordings, or anything else, you can ask him. Okay? Thank you, Tirtha Tilak Prabhu. This is text 20 from the Bhagavat in this particular chapter. It's been extracted and commented upon in light of the Bhagavat. 20. Fierce torrents of rain break over the strands and the partition walls of the paddy fields. These disturbances resemble those created by the seasonal opponents of the standard principles of the Vedas, who are influenced by the age of Kali. Okay, so I'll call upon some of you to, if you want, read this and be part of it. Who wants to do that?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah,
I
go
can
ahead.
read. Thank you, Maharaj. Originally, the path of self-realization was established by the standard direction of the Vedas. Srila Vyasadeva divided the original Veda into 4 divisions, namely Sama, Atharva, Rig, and Yajur. Then he divided the same Vedas into 18 Puranas, supplements, and the Mahabharata. And then again, the same author summarized them in the Vedanta Sutras. The purpose of all these Vedic literature is to realize oneself to be spiritual being, eternally related with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the all-attractive form Sri Krishna.
Go
Should I
ahead.
continue with this? Okay. But But all these different Vedic literatures were systematically distorted by the onslaught of age of Kali, as the walls of paddy field and the strand of the river are distorted by the onslaught of heavy rains. The attacks of distortion are offered by atheistic philosophers who are concerned only with eating, drinking, being merry, and enjoying. These atheists are all against the revealed scriptures because such persons are intimately attached to sense pleasures and gross materialism. There are also others who do not believe in the eternity of life. Some of them propose that life is ultimately to be annihilated and and that only the material energy is conserved. Others are less concerned with physical form but do not believe anything beyond the experience. And still others equate spirit and matter and declare that distinction between them to be illusionary. There is no doubt that Vedas stand as most recognized books of knowledge from every angle of vision. But over the course of time, the Vedic path has been attacked by philosophers like Charvaka, Buddha, Arhat, Kapila, Patanjali, Shankara, Vaikarana, Gemini, the Nayakas, and the Vaisheshakas, the Sanganids, the Empiricists, the Pasupata Saivas, the Saguna Saivas, the Brahmanas, the Aryas, and many others. The list of non-Vedic speculators grow daily without restriction. The path of the Vedas do not accord with any principle devoid of eternal relation with God, attainment of his devotional service, and culmination in transcendental love for him. Jai.
Thank you. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, as you have seen, the same thing you can see the parallel in the Srimad Bhagavatam also, 10th canto, 20th chapter and 23. When Indra sent forth his rains, the flood waters broke through the irrigation dikes in the agricultural fields. Just as in the Kali Yuga, the atheists' false theories break down the boundaries of Vedic injunctions. So, a very beautiful analogy. You must know that the hard work done by Vedavyasa, who is a literary incarnation of Krishna himself, in this age of Kali, segregating the Vedas in the four Riksama, Yajura, Tarva, and then writing the Puranas, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, all for the sake of the people of this world, out of his own mercy. Because you will see that this world is described as complete darkness. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Asatoma Sadgamaya. Tamas, the world is described as tamas, means total darkness. Actually, you have no chance of getting any light. You have absolutely no chance. And even if there was any reflected light, nobody is there to explain to you that. You can only speculate on that. The nature of the conditioned soul is helplessly entangled and is total darkness. That's why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it's mentioned, Maya Mugdha Jivere Nahi Swatha Krishna Jnana Jivere Kripaya Koila Krishna Veda Purana. If you go to Madhya chapter 20, verse 122, you'll be able to read this. I'm just reading it to you. The conditioned soul cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort. But out of causeless mercy, Lord Krishna compiled the Vedic literatures and its supplements, the Puranas. That's why it says, Jivere Kripaya Koila Krishna Veda Purana. Jivere Kripaye Koila means he took mercy on the conditioned souls. And he composed the Vedic literature. He came as Vyasadeva and he composed his Vedic literature. So that simply by inside this dark place, the only information you have about the light, about the real world, about the absolute world, and everything is through these books, through this Shastra. That's the way it is designed. Now, the big problem is you cannot understand the Shastra on your own just by reading it. You may think that you can, but you will see that you woefully lack the capacity to decode that information and understand it, leave alone implement it. That's where the Acharya comes in. These Acharyas, Mahabhagavatas, very pure devotees of the Lord, they are the ones who can give the right interpretation. Mahajano yena gatasa panta. You cannot on your own understand. Tarko apratishta vibhinashutayo nasa vrishir yasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatasa panta. Very beautiful shloka from the Mahabharata. Tarka apratishta. Apratishta. Pratishta means foundation. Apratishta means no foundation. Tarka apratishta means arguments and vadas and all that have got no foundation. Why? It's your opinion against my opinion. And you just bother about winning the argument. Sometimes you may falsely conclude and you'll win the argument also. Arguments by themselves don't point at the truth. Vibhina Shutayo. The scripture is so vast. So vast. Nasa Rishir Yasya Matamna Bhinnam. Each Rishi, each sage has read it and has got his own opinion and perception of it. So how are you going to understand it? Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. The solid truth of religious principles mentioned in the scripture. Nihitam guhaya. Deeply inside the heart of a Mahajana. Mahajano yena gatasa panta. Therefore, you must simply go behind these Mahajanas, these great Mahabhagavatas, devotees. Their life, their teachings is the way to the light, to the truth. You cannot try to interpret the scripture on your own. It will be dangerous exercise. Now, there are people who attempt to do it. That's what is the meaning here. The nice bund made, if you go in the agricultural field, you'll see nice raised mud separating one field from the other. In Malayalam language, they call it something. In Tamil, they will call it something in the agricultural fields. Malayalam endu parayum? Abhirami?
It's called Bandu. It's called Bandu.
Okay. Yeah. And in Tamil, they say something else. And you'll see sometimes inside the same land, they would have separated it. And there will be water and this. So these are boundaries protecting the land, the water flow, the irrigation, the partition and boundaries one against the other and everything. Nobody actually breaks it inside the village knowingly. Nobody does it. But amongst themselves, they won't do it. But somebody else can do it from outside. Here it says, when it rains heavily, all those bunds break and the boundaries are lost. It all becomes a mess. You don't know one from the other. And that is likened to people who interpret the Vedic literatures on their own. They may be great speakers, they may be great analysts, they may be great jnanis, but they will not be devotees many times. And if they are not devotees, they won't capture the essence. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. Yesterday we were talking about Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He was known to be an illiterate. Disappearance day. Yesterday. And we recollected the life of his this thing, and he came to Vrindavan. In 32 years, he stayed in Vrindavan. He is Babaji. Those days, like his Babaji initiation, like equivalent to a sannyasi. And he was sometimes running naked. He was doing things like an avadut. He was sitting in the public toilet and chanting Hare Krishna. When people came and asked him many things, he would boldly answer. They asked him, why are you sitting in the toilet and chanting the holy name? Is it not stinking here? Why are you doing this? He said, no, it stinks more for me when materialistic people come and spoil my spiritual life. They come to see me, they touch my feet, they say, and they do all sorts of things in front of me, and they beg for mercy, this, that, and all that. They'll never give up their materialistic life. And it's very polluting for me. This place is far better than on my consciousness, because only external smell. But that thing, stink, gets into my consciousness. So I think this is a better place. That type of a personality. He was known to be illiterate, but he carried 2 books with him always. He was reading it from Narottam Das Thakur's books. But the interesting thing is that he used to come to see Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He moved to Navadvip and he was coming to see Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his Swananda Sukhada Kunja. Beautiful place with the Jalangi, Saraswati River and Ganges River meeting. That place. Even today, it's a beautiful site to visit. And he would have intimate discussions with Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He would normally not associate with anybody else, selected people. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur is one of the people he would come to. He was a complete renunciant, Babaji, Avadut. Bhakti Vinod Thakur had 14 children, 2 wives, and he was a powerful personality materially also. But he would come to associate only with Bhakti Vinod Thakur. It's very interesting because Bhakti Vinod Thakur is a great soul. Amazing pure devotee. They used to meet, and then the son of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the guru of Srila Prabhupada, was also there. And he was known to be a great scholar. When he was 8 years old itself, he got a title, Siddhanta Saraswati. When he was 20 years old, he became a minister of the king of Tripura, Manipur, and all that. Special advisor. He's a par excellence scholar, mathematician, astronomer, astrologer, everything. Right from very young. By the time he was 6 years old, he has finished mugging the whole Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata, everything. A super duper scholar, philosopher, everything. And he was coming there, very young man, coming and seeing that Gaur Kishore Das Babaji was always having tears in his eyes and always chanting Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and always saying Radhe, Radhe, when will you show me mercy? Where is Radharani? Like that. He was always, never any time he saw him not pronouncing the holy name. It was never quite 24 hours he saw him. So he was very, very amazed at this personality. He was supposed to be illiterate, by the way. And here is Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, a great scholar. And his father of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, told him, here is your spiritual master. You should take initiation from him. 2 opposite poles, an illiterate avadut roaming around naked and, jumping around here and there, hardly eating and complete in ecstasy, and a very highly civilized, highly cultured scholar, very well read. His father is telling him, take initiation from him. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, yes, I want to. I've been watching him. He's such an exalted devotee. And then he felt in his heart this Krishna's arrangement. I also have great respect for him. And it's how nice it would be to be guided by him as a guru. So he went and told him and fell at his feet. Please accept me as your disciple. He said, oh, I am a nobody. I'm an illiterate. And you're a big scholar, a cultured person, and you're so great. I am not the fit person to do it. I don't think, he said all these regular things. Again, Bhakti Thakur after some time approached him and said, something, something, something again. And again he approached him. Then he said, I'll speak to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and tell you. He told him, I'll speak to Mahaprabhu and I'll tell you about it. Actually, he was not joking. He was actually speaking. You know from his other pastimes. He was totally in 100% Krishna consciousness. He was completely absent in this world. He was oblivious of this world. So he said, I'll speak to them. The next time Bhakti Thakur met him, he said, if you don't give me this initiation, I'm going to jump into the Ganges and commit suicide. Right now. By that time, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj had got very impressed with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his humility, his scholarship, and everything together. They gave him initiation, accepted him as his disciple. Now, this instance I'm stating, who is actually realized? This is the meaning of Mahajano Yena Gatasa Pantha. Following the footsteps of the Mahajana. He has realized Krishna. And externally he is known to be illiterate. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur now, he is the Mahajana I should follow. He took initiation from him. So, I want to just illustrate this. The pure devotees of the Lord are the ones who understand the purpose of the scripture, the essence of the scripture. But there are lots of other people who hang around and explain the scripture in their own ways, full of gyan, full of karma, full of yoga, this, that, and a mixture of everything and maybe nothing. All of them are people who break the boundaries set and the beautiful construct of the Vedic literature, right? So I gave you this illustration, which is very recent. Yesterday was Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj's disappearance day. Mahajano Yena Gatasa Pantha. That we should understand the scripture only through a devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. That way, it is easy to get into this deep essence. Saram, Saram, Samudritam. The essence of the literature will immediately be available to you. The Srimad Bhāgavatam is that essence of the entire Vedic literature. And when it is explained by a pure devotee, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he lives that life, he practices it, he teaches it to the whole world by his life and by his books, and he encourages everybody and leads them in this direction. That's the meaning of an Acharya. They are very rare souls. Not everybody can be like that at all. But they can be strict followers of these great personalities. And we can still get inspiration from them. Prabhupada, of course, said that I would live eternally in my books. Anytime you can get my association. In this way, we are protected by the explanations given by Prabhupada. It's famously called the Bhaktivedanta purports. Prabhupada said, these are my personal ecstasies in Krishna consciousness that I've written down. And many times he said that I have not written this. It's written by my Guru Maharaj. He dictated it to me, I wrote it. On another occasion, he said, Krishna is sitting on my shoulder and telling me what to write, and I'm writing it. On another occasion, he said that, have you ever seen an author read his own books regularly? And everybody said, no, they'll be writing some more books. Prabhupada said, no, I do. Because I am not the writer of these books. They're written by Krishna. And he would read. On Janmashtami, you will see in New Vrindavan once, he read and read and read the whole day and everybody was falling asleep. But Prabhupada was ecstatically reading the Krishna book. Hours together he read, and he was enjoying it. So that is the great potency of a pure devotee. So we are all very fortunate that we get to have Srila Prabhupada's books. We should read them. We should not think them to be just another book. These are pathways to get out of the darkness into the light. And this illusory world is so difficult to get out of. Mama maya duratyaya mamevaye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. It is very, very difficult to get out of this. In fact, it's impossible to get out of this unless you surrender to me in loving devotion. That is explained by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, right? So sometimes, although we know the truth, it's very difficult to tell people who are in the darkness about the truth. But Prabhupada did it in an amazing way. And he tried to convince as many people as possible. Of course, it's not an easy thing to convince people who have been dedicated and living for long in this world of matter and completely attached and entangled in it. So it's mentioned that even if you are a person who comes from the outside world like Prabhupada and explains to people the truth and the light and Krishna and everything, people start making interpretations of that also. You know, there's a famous analogy given by Plato, the Greek philosopher. You know, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, Plato. Plato was a disciple of Socrates. So he wrote this book called The Republic, very famous. All philosophers study it. It's about society, how to rule, how to govern, how to guide people. In that he gave the analogy that this world and the people in it are like people inside a cave, he said. There are people stuck inside a cave. And the problem with that cave is all of them are chained, hands, legs, everything, to the sides of the cave. And they're all asked to face a wall. But behind them is a huge light. It could be fire, it could be other things. And there are people moving there and talking. And those shadows of those people fall on this wall. And all the time, these people can see only these shadows. That is their reality. And they discuss the shadow, the people, the strength of the light, the this, the that, and that is their life. Because their hands and legs are chained. They can only see the wall and they can see the shadows moving up and down and babbling sounds. And they speculate on that. And that is their reality. Day and night, till they die, they see only this. Just imagine. It's an allegorical story. One of them somehow gets out of the chains. But don't ask me how that happened. I want to learn that trick and all that. But it happened somehow. And he explained. And he escaped. So he did not know what to do. He turned around and looked at the light. And he saw people walking there for the first time in his life. So, ooh, they look like me. So he got up and went into the light for the first time. My gosh, so brilliant. First time he got into the sunlight. Then he started meeting with people who were just like him. And he could look at himself fully in the light. Then he saw that they are like me. They are free. They are talking. They have children. They have families. He went around everywhere. Associated, slowly learned many things. And he said, what have I been doing? For a long, long time, my reality was there's the shadows on the wall. But there is a whole world of reality. This is the real world. And those shadows, I was accepting to be the reality. How foolish, how stupid. How did I manage to spend my time like this? He had a big realization. He went around talking to people and slowly he got mature in understanding. One fine day he thought, I must go back to that cave and release all the other people and show them the light. So he went back to that cave. And he started explaining to them. They heard him for long. He said, there is a light behind. That's the real world. This is all complete illusion. This is shadow. This is not the real stuff. This, please come out, get out. There are gardens, there are ponds, there are rivers, there are beautiful scenery. There is fresh air, there is fruits, there is vegetables, everything is fine. And there are nice people. These fellows looked at him for a long time and said, rascal, we don't believe one word of what you said. You're trying to come and cheat us. They started abusing him by words first, and they started physically abusing him. He said, no, you've been trapped. Let me help you. Anjay, that hit him. Don't you dare try to take out the chains. You're trying to pull us into another vague, this thing. This is real. This is where we belong. We are born here. We lived here. My grandfather was here. Great-grandfather was here. My kids are here. My family is here. My possessions are here. None of them agreed. They kicked him out. And he went out. He said, my gosh, I am not able to convince them. He felt so sad when they were in the grips of an illusion. This is a very famous analogy. It's called the Plato's cave analogy. So these Vedas are like this person coming to them and telling, get out. This is not the reality. There is light. The Acharya is like this person coming, right, and explaining things to you. So even in Greek philosophy, they had this notion that this world is illusion. It's darkness. And we need to get to the light. And the scripture here mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that these amazing scriptures are actually Krishna's mercy on us. So I will stop here and take any questions if you have. We're supposed to finish at 8:30. Keep you exactly for 1 hour. Any questions, any comments? Today is dedicated to telling all of you how fantastic you are. And the Vedic literature is telling that it's right there in your hands. Please pick it up, and the more you read, the more you'll understand why you are fantastic. And why the whole Krishna conscious movement is fantastic. How Krishna is super duper fantastic. How his devotees are greatly fantastic people who come to this world to help us to understand the light. And how by associating with them, we also get to the light. And we realize our fantastic nature, spiritual nature, our connection with Krishna. And in this way, everything about Krishna consciousness is fantastic. Welcome to the fantastic experience. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Good night. Om Tat Sat.